This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. On the banks of the Mississippi, we're in downtown St. Louis in Busch Stadium. Game number 4 between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth with Brad Thompson. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes, he's with us as well as we get you set for game number 4. And the Cardinals trying to earn a split in this series, and they'll do so with Jordan Hicks on the mound.
Well, they're going to need Jordan Hicks in this one. Definitely need to salvage this series. And Jordan Hicks making his 3rd start of the year, looking to get him extended. The stats with Lowe's. How has he been attacking? Last time out, a little bit more sinker. Backed off on the slider. We've only seen him throw 4 changeups so far this year. He's been working on that split change, but the key is stay within the strike zone for Jordan Hicks. They want to get him extended. 42 pitches last start, Dan. They'd like him to be around 65 or 70.
So you look at the start at Miami, and then it was cut short against the Mets, and the comebacker off his right wrist. Those are the numbers. What have you thought so far?
So far, so good. The stuff is obviously there with Jordan Hicks. He would like to be within the strike zone more, though. He's got 6 walks in 9 innings of work. You'd love to see him just throw that sinker down the middle and let it work.
The baseball. What has happened? As we turn the page and say hello to May. Not many homers. A closer look at that coming up. We start with the offense.
Well, a hot start for a couple of guys, Nolan Arenado and Tommy Edman. Overall, though, kind of been a middling month for the Cardinals. Little meat left on the bone there for the offense.
Now the starters.
I think that the starting pitching has been a lot better than many expected. Miles Michaelis has been fantastic. Dakota Hudson, we've seen his last 2 outings be really good, but here's the part of the team that you knew you were going to lean on, the bullpen. And the bullpen has really stood up early in this season. The first month, 6th in ERA, 10th in WHIP, and they're giving you a chance every time out there.
So the St. Louis Cardinals today looking to earn a split with Arizona. It's been frustrating at times this weekend, no doubt. The Diamondbacks, the Cardinals coming up on Bally Sports. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And brought to you by Real Steel. Find yours at steeldealers.com. It's a big crowd today here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, and for the first time since Game 7 of the 2011 World Series, Albert Pujols is playing first base for the St. Louis Cardinals.
It still looks right, doesn't it?
Sure does.
Paul Goldschmidt getting a scheduled day off. Albert Pujols takes over the duties at first base, and like you said, man, this is a game that the Cardinals need this one. You've dropped 2 in a row to the Diamondbacks. It's time to get right back in this thing.
So with Brad Thompson and Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Jordan Hicks getting the call today. We'll see how he feels in terms of the comebacker off the right wrist. He threw a bullpen 2 days ago. No ill effects with that. Anticipate that he's 100% coming in.
Absolutely. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Jordan Hicks. You know what you're going to get. A lot of fastball, sinking action, good slider. Has not thrown a lot of the changeup this year. It was something that he was really working on in spring training, that split change. But honestly, I mean, he's only thrown 9 innings this year. Hasn't had a chance to really get too deep into games yet.
At the top of the lineup, Dalton Varsho, and he's the catcher today. And he's been in center field in this series. Then Luplow, Peralta, Walker, Beer, Marte, Smith, Ahmed, and Perdomo, the switch hitter, batting 9th.
I don't think there's too many of those, Dan. Center field / catchers in the league.
You know, I was thinking about it before the game, and initially what comes to mind would be Craig Biggio, who did play the outfield, started his career in the 1988 season. He was a catcher then, and then it was a couple of years and went to the outfield and then moved to second base. So that's one. And then you think about a catcher that's a leadoff guy, and that would be Jason Kendall.
There you go. Pretty good skill set.
Did it for a number of years with the Pirates. The fastball taken high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Chris Conroy calling the balls and strikes. Carlos Torres at first. Ron Culpa is the crew chief at second. Jeremy Riggs down at third. The umpiring crew today. The 2-0 pitch. So Hicks with his fastball is right around the average 99 miles an hour, which is a tick or two lower than what we've seen from him as a reliever when he can air it out. But you back off, I guess, slightly, and slightly for him is still 99.
Yeah, to your point, that is by design. He talked about that, having a little bit less there in terms of max effort. But that is crazy that you take something off of it. You're sitting 97 to 99 miles an hour, still have 101, 102 in the pocket, and a breakout slider.
The shift on the right side. There's the slider. So working out of the bullpen, about 50% of his fastballs hit triple digits. Coming into this start as a starter, it's right around 16% of those hitting 100 or better. And he goes to 3-2 on Dalton Varsho. And doesn't get the call, and it's a tight zone in that first plate appearance. Dobbs, Tire, and Auto Centers. The defense, Nolan back in there after serving the 1-game suspension yesterday. O'Neill, Bader, Carlson in the outfield. Arenado, DeYoung on the left side of the infield. Edman, Pujols on the right side, and Kisner is behind the plate. So a leadoff walk to start the game. The Arizona Diamondbacks, a very patient club. They have not hit well, but yet they have drawn 83 walks this year, third in baseball behind San Diego and Seattle. Runner goes. Kisner's throw is there. The tag and out. Tag applied by Edman and a caught stealing for Andrew Kisner.
Tell you what, that was a quick release right there by Andrew Kisner. Looked to be a decent jump by Dalton Varsho over at first base off of Jordan Hicks, but I guess that's what happens when a fastball's coming in the upper 90s, and then you have that strong throw right on the money.
Boy, really quick release, though.
He's been fast. He's been really fast behind the plate. There we go.
Pick me up for Jordan Hicks. And the 0-1 pitch to Luplow, taken low and outside. Yesterday was just the second game this season Arizona did not draw a walk. And it was a span of 6 pitches. They had 2 solo home runs, and that was the game.
What a game it was, too. Well pitched offensively for the Cardinals. Boy, a little bit to be desired in that game. Only 2 hits.
And a fly ball into deep right field. Carlson looks up, and it's gone. Clears the wall. That's a home run, and it's 1-0 as Luplow hits his first of the season.
Well, you never like to give up a home run, but that caught stealing looms large there. Could have doubled that lead. Sinker going down and away, just catches a little bit more of the plate than he wanted. Really nice job by Jordan Luplow to stay on that, because down and away is an area where he has his struggles.
Last home run that Hicks allowed was all the way back in 2019. And that's when the Angels and Albert Pujols were here. And it was Justin Upton who hit that home run, who was recently released by the Angels, and they owed him roughly $25 million. So 1-0 already for Arizona. Here's David Peralta. Left fielder this afternoon for Torey Lovullo and the Diamondbacks. We'll mention this throughout the broadcast, but if you had a ticket for the rainout game, the makeup tomorrow against Kansas City, the start time has been moved to 12:15 tomorrow here at the ballpark. We understand there's some rough weather coming in tomorrow night, so they want to make sure and get it in. 1-2 the count. Right-handers came in batting 177. The lefties 154 against Jordan Hicks. And the 1-2 pitch. Check swing did not go. Ollie had mentioned a few weeks ago that by May, and here it is, May 1st, he wanted to have Hicks built up to at least 5 innings. And we'll see how deep they want to go today.
Yeah, that line drive that he took off his wrist ended up throwing things off a little bit in terms of pitch count, because the plan was last time out against the Mets, he only ended up going 2 innings, left 2+, left after that line drive, finished that inning, just couldn't get a batter out in that 3rd inning. But they wanted to get him up to 65, 70 pitches in that range. Ended with 42, so I would assume that we'll see him probably somewhere around that 65, 70. If he's crazy efficient, maybe you get that 5.
And the count runs full. Already at 15 pitches here. And he's had 2 full counts and allowed a home run. Luplow's first extra base hit this year. And the 3-2 pitch. Foul back. So Varsho started the game with a walk and then was caught stealing for the first time since the 2020 season. He's got great speed. The home run hit by Luplow, and here comes another 3-2 pitch to David Peralta. Got him. Took something off it. 79 miles an hour, and the first strikeout for Jordan Hicks.
3-2. That's showing a lot of confidence in that slider right there for Jordan Hicks. Fouled off the fastball in the pitch prior. Goes with the breaking ball. Knows he's got to be within the strike zone. A really good pitch to get Peralta out in front.
2 outs, and the batter will be Christian Walker. 4 home runs, batting 147. Talk about so much trying to get the ball in the air in today's game. Paid for those home runs. And so you look at the slugging percentage of line drives as opposed to fly balls. And if you go back to 2 years ago, that percentage is dropping dramatically in terms of how far or the damage done with fly balls. So is it a byproduct of better pitching? Is it a byproduct of having a roster expanded to where you always have fresh arms? Yeah. Or is it actually the baseball?
I think the answer is very likely a little bit of everything, wouldn't you think?
Probably, yeah.
Makes sense.
So there's 20 ballparks this year that have added the humidor. There's a good pitch, and it's 1-2. And baseball feels that when it starts to warm up, we get into the summer months, that actually the offense will increase. But on the flip side, some of the cold weather cities, it really has affected production offensively.
I think you're also seeing some of that shortened spring training, some of those at-bats that weren't there for certain guys.
The check swing. Oh, he did not go. 2-2. So 1 month basically in the books, and runs per game are just above 4. That's the lowest since 1981. The league average is 231. Lowest since 68, and home runs down to the lowest point they've seen since 1986. Wow. So offense is way down. And it's the 3rd full count here for Jordan Hicks in the 1st inning. Going back to thinking about the factors of what's going on, I've grabbed the baseball. I think that's a lot of it. I mean, baseball just feels different at times.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and trust the guys that do this for a living that say it's different. You have the pitchers that are out there feeling the baseball, spinning it, and they say it's different. I know Adam Wainwright has talked about that in the last couple of years, how the baseballs have changed over the years. Maybe it was some sort of overcorrection. I know Major League Baseball hasn't talked about that part of it, you know, about changing the ball at all, but it is very interesting to see this offense the way it is. And a lot of it too maybe is because of approach. Guys, you know, everybody's just trying to lift the ball and just not flying yet. There you go.
That time he got him. So 2 strikeouts in the inning, back-to-back for Hicks. Walker caught stealing and a solo home run. Harrison Bader batting 2nd today. He's coming up. Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Arenado, Albert Pujols, the first baseman, Corey Dickerson, designated hitter, Dylan Carlson, Andrew Kisner, and Paul DeJong. Zach Davies, last year with the Cubs, he made 32 starts, had a tough year, and signed in the offseason with Arizona. The Hyundai pitch arsenal.
A lot of sinker. Changeup is his secondary pitch. It's a good one.
Davies' last start with Chicago against the Cardinals, a rough one. He had 6 hits, allowed 6 runs, gave up a home run to Tyler O'Neill, only lasted 2 innings. On the ground, hit to short. Nick Ahmed up with it. Ahmed made the defensive play of the game yesterday with a runner at third and Goldie at the plate. He came charging in, and a bang play at first, and it saved a run. Around the Horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Peralta, Luplow, and Smith on the infield. It is Perdomo, Ahmed, Marte, who homered yesterday, Walker at first, and Varsho behind the plate. Here's Harrison Bader.
Well, as you mentioned, definitely a new look lineup here for the Cardinals. Hopefully new results. 2 hits yesterday. Merrill Kelly was really good. The last 2 guys you faced, Merrill Kelly and Madison Bumgarner, both in the top 10 in the NL and in Major League Baseball in ERA. A little bit different customer here in Davies. You got to get something going early.
You move Harrison Bader up. He's had great numbers, 7 for 10 against this right-hander. A double, a home run. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Davies, his 15th start against the Cardinals. It's 3-5. He's given up 11 home runs in the 14 starts prior to today.
He has had some success, though, in this ballpark. ERA just over 3 in 6 starts at Busch.
A little bit low, and it's a count of 2-2.
It's going to be important in this ball game. If you see a ball that's low, let it go. Everything that he's got is sinking.
And Bader is jammed and popped up. And it's dropped. Davies, along with the catcher Varsho, come together, and it's dropped. And the Cardinals have a runner. And unfortunately for the Cardinals, Bader is at first and not at second.
Yeah, if he's busting like he normally is, and I get a little pop up to the infield, but you just never know in that spot. Cardinals catch a break, but could have been a better one.
Be an error charge to Varsho.
I mean, mix in a little bit of communication right there, one side or the other.
Now, you're a pitcher, Brad, in that spot. What are you taught on that? I mean, and here's the thing. They always say, get the pitcher out of the way. I mean, you're telling me he can't make that catch?
Oh, no, he can make that catch, but you better be yelling at the catcher. I got to be very adamant that I am going to get that. It's an easier play for him than it is for Varsho backing up trying to make that play. So you got to be loud. It's communication. We've seen just in this series, the Diamondbacks have a lot of communication issues within the outfield, guys running into each other. It's important. Hopefully right there, a break that the Cardinals needed, first of all, and can take advantage of.
So Marte, the second baseman, the shortstop side of the bag, and the 1-0 pitch coming up here to Tyler O'Neill. A ball and a strike. O'Neill is 4 for 6 with a home run against Davies. Bader with 6 steals. Edman with 5, the top 2 in the National League. They lead all of baseball with 22 stolen bases. And with not a lot of home runs being hit, they've got to generate offense. And another check on Bader. There's only 3 teams in all of baseball that have 5 or more players with more than one stolen base. Dodgers, Angels, Cardinals. And the 1-1. O'Neill pulls it foul. Brett Thompson, your Toyota key to the game.
Against Zach Davies, it's be selective. I know you have a tendency when you're struggling as an offense, you press, you get overly aggressive. Zach Davies has made a living of getting you to swing at pitches he wants you to hit. He's going to nibble. He's going to be around the corners. You got to be able to see it up. Be selective. Don't try to be the hero early.
He's right around 1-4 to the plate, so that would be go time for the Cardinals. 22 steals, first time since the 04 season. And that year the Cardinals won over 100 games that they enter May with more than 20 stolen bases.
Well, if you're going to be struggling in one aspect offensively, you better have something to pick it up. You mentioned the power not being there. The speed is. Utilize it.
1-2 the count. Arrow is changed to Davies, who's been a finalist for a Gold Glove. The strikeout of Tyler O'Neill. And it's Nolan Arenado.
Davies shook to that changeup, throws it away.
There's Nolan Arenado hitting .375 with 5 home runs, and he's driven in 17 on a 4-game hitting streak. Had to sit out yesterday. He's 7 for his last 13. Well, I'd love to see Bader be aggressive here. 1-4 to the plate, put somebody in scoring position, get that run back. Then again, you might get 2 with 1 swing of the bat. And the strike. Davies, team high 32 starts with the Cubs. He went 6-12. Third time that he's given a team 30 or more starts. Arenado has been at his best with men on base. .438 the average. The 0-1. Line foul. So Nolan Gorman tearing it up at Memphis. Most of his home runs have been solo. Arenado, all 5 have been with men on.
Nolan Gorman hit his 11th home run. Pretty impressive.
It's going to make it tough for the club to keep him down. Keep doing that. And the 0-2. So here it was again. Nolan Gorman, 11 home runs. This one off a lefty. The ball is crushed.
It's a pretty swing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quick hands, get to that pitch on the inner half. Good balance. And a nice start to the season. Not just home runs. You saw that average hitting .338, getting on base a lot. Still striking out a lot. He's striking out about 36% of the time. But look, when you're putting up numbers like that, you deal with the strikeouts. You know that's going to come with a power hitter.
Another check on Bader. Typically, when guys come from AAA to the majors, you're going to see the strikeout rate go even higher. Pitchers are better. They hit spots. And that's one of the big differences between minor league and Major League Baseball, being able to throw off-speed pitches behind an account, those kind of things. Arenado lifts a fly ball to left. Coming in, David Peralta to make the catch. Cardinals strand a runner. 1 inning in the book, so home run by Luplow. It's 1-0. We check in with Jim Hayes.
Give it to us, Jimbo.
Third major league start for Jordan Hicks as he attempts to get himself stretched out. He's already impressed his teammates. That includes Miles Michaelis. Michaelis said, "I call him the boy wonder, faster than a speeding bullet. He's Dakota that throws 100. Michaelis told me he's been impressed with Jordan's approach. He said he makes it a point to hang with me and Waino and Jack and Dak and pick our brains and ask a lot of questions. I love the way he's embraced that. Once he gets stretched out, he'll be great." Danny, Dak that throws 100, pretty good.
Absolutely. Jimbo, you were all over that, Brad.
Good stuff right there. And I love hearing that. First of all, Boy Wonder. It's a good nickname. Doing something right when they're calling you Boy Wonder. But him picking the brains of all the veteran guys. A lot of times you'll see players that come in, they have electric stuff, and they think they have it all figured out. There's always something to learn. You can always learn how to utilize your stuff more and more. And at 25 years old, you know, Jordan Hicks has got that part of it figured out. Nasty breaking ball right there. Want to keep learning from these guys.
Talked about it a lot, but moving to the rotation, the idea, and Hicks is all about this. So is the Cardinals front office, medical team, but just trying to keep a regimen that gets him to the point where he feels healthy every 5th day. So the wear and tear of being a bullpen guy, you did that, and certainly late innings, high leverage that Hicks was accustomed to. Now you have every 5th day, and you have bullpens in between.
Yeah, so I know that a lot of people look at that and think, well, how can you, if you can't stay healthy with 70 innings, how are you supposed to do it with, like, let's call it 150? Okay, we'll do 30 starts, 5 apiece. Well, it's the routine that you're talking about. It's all the work that goes in between. It's the not having to answer the bell each and every day. When the phone rings 3 days out of 4, you get up a couple of times in a ball game before you get in. All that wear and tear is different on guys. And some guys respond better to that. Others need the rest in between and the work days to be able to build themselves back up. And that's the hope here for Jordan Hicks.
Lined foul off the bat of Seth Beer. Designated hitter. Then Marte is switch hitter. Pavin Smith after that. The 2-2. Strikeout number 3 and 3 in a row.
Well, you got a hard foul ball on the slider. Decided to just gas him up away 100 miles an hour. Beer, a really good fastball hitter, but that's just a really good fastball. 100 mile an hour on the corner by Jordan Hicks.
Ketel Marte, give you an idea of the kind of athlete that he is. He was the first player in Major League history to have 90+ games in both the infield and outfield. So he was used all over the place a couple of years ago, primarily their everyday second baseman. Since 19, 6th in baseball with a .306 average.
Well, you knew it was a matter of time, too. He was going to break out. He snapped the 0 for 25 with a double, had the home run yesterday against Michaelis.
And a count of 2 balls and no strikes.
Marte does, even in this count, and I know how dangerous he is. Marte has had his struggles specifically this year against velocity. He's hitting .069 on anything 95 and above. So let it rip. Throw him a fastball away. Go get him.
And the 2-0 with a shift on the right side is hit down that left field line and out of play.
A rarely used changeup right there, 2-0. Doesn't have to move a ton either. All you got to do is take a little bit off. That was a good pitch. Had him in swing mode.
Hit up the middle and position there. The shift. Paul DeYoung right at the right spot. And that's out number 2. Download the MLB app to get video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and more for your Cardinals. Well, every front office tomorrow has to reduce their roster as May 2nd will be upon us, and that's the cutoff date to trim the rosters.
Yeah, you have to be down 2 players. Now, they did change the rule in the last week that you can carry 14 pitchers. They were going to make everybody get down to 13, but you're going to have an extra month of that.
It was Pavin Smith, and looks at a strike. The 0-1. The changeup taken low. 1 ball and 1 strike. And a ground ball. Couple of hops. Tommy Edman. Wide throw. Pujols stays on the bag, and he'll lead it off when we come back. Pujols, Dickerson, and Carlson. 1-0. 11:30. Valley Sports Midwest Extra will be on the app as well. Blues hockey kicks off tomorrow night. 12:15 with the first pitch. 11:30 pregame. Kansas City here for 1, a makeup date. Albert Pujols is 0 for 6, couple of walks against Davies. You may see Albert in the lineup tomorrow as well. Zach Greinke, not a hard thrower, and this is by design with some of these guys that throw from the right side. Cardinals like the matchup with Albert.
Well, Davies going to do everything he can to stay away, make Albert drive the ball the other way, but all it takes is that one mistake at that velocity, especially if he hangs a changeup up there. That's something that Albert could hook.
And the 1-1.
That's the pitch right there.
Yep. Here's a 1-2. Went back to back with it. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Albert has had his struggles this year against the righties. 1 for 15 coming into action today. But like you said, it's about picking the right matchups. Right-handed with big velocity was not good for Albert at this point. This guy could be.
2-2. In the air to right, slicing a bit. And Pavin Smith will make the catch. Corey Dickerson almost tied up the game late yesterday. Hit one to the top of the wall in right field. The bottom of the 9th with a runner on. Came up short. He's 3 for 13 against Davies. Dickerson hitting 184. No home runs. He's driven in 7.
He's had some clutch hits, though. I mean, 2-out RBI. I think 5 of his 7 he's driven in have been with 2 outs. We'd love to see him start driving the ball, but I think you can say that for most of this ball club.
The 0-1. Davies has that youthful look to him, Brad, and I'm sure you can appreciate that.
I don't know. He's got the chops on the side. He's got the goatee, and he's pulling that off a little bit. I'm still working on that. 40 years in. Still working on that.
He has the nickname Bat Boy. Happened in his rookie season 2015. He was at the end of the bench, and a security guard asked Craig Counsell. That's backhanded by Marte. When he was in Milwaukee, he said, well, who's pitching today? He pointed to the end of the bench, and the security guard said, wait a minute, that's the Bat Boy. So it's a nickname, and Davies says it just stuck, and he actually wore that during Players Weekend. That was his nickname on the back of the jersey.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Embrace it, right?
That's what he said. So
Tomorrow
that could be
starter.
Yeah, right there. There he is. Davies from Seattle. He has a tattoo of the Seattle skyline on his left forearm. Grew up idolizing Jamie Moyer, who spent all those years in Seattle and so many years in baseball, even a year here in St. Louis in the early 90s. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I feel like Jamie Moyer's probably still pitching somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know about it, but he's doing something somewhere. That pitch right there, by the way, has been trouble for Dylan. That changeup. Good take there.
Looking for his first hit in the series, 0 for 11. And he is 1 for 6 against Davies. The 2-1 pitch. Hit out of play. 2-2. Diamondbacks with his shift on the right side and a 2-2 pitch. Second strikeout for Davies. sends us to the third. Ahmed, Perdomo, Varsho coming up. Coverage cam. Beautiful day here at the ballpark. Fleece blanket giveaway. And it's a big crowd on this Sunday afternoon. Nick Ahmed, Geraldo Perdomo, and the top of the lineup, Dalton Varsho. Home run to Luplow back in the first, and that is the only hit in this game. 1-0 Arizona.
A more efficient inning that last inning, though, for Jordan Hicks. 14 pitches after a 24-pitch first inning. A couple of ground balls and a punch out. That's what you want to see.
Ahmed with a home run yesterday, his second. Off to a good start, hitting .368. Outfield is straight away, and the 1-0 pitch taken for a strike.
You see that thing tail back as a hitter, you're thinking no chance I'm offering at that thing, and then boom, right back on the corner.
Ahmed 5 for his last 10, 2 home runs, a double, and that's taken low. 2-1. Steven Matz going tomorrow in the makeup game against Kansas City, and Zach Greinke for the Royals. The 2-1 pitch. Look at that. Wow. That is just filthy.
Did you see Nick Ahmed? The hips already started going out towards the third base dugout. He said, I don't like it.
Wow. And the 2-2 pitch by Jordan Hicks. He comes back with 99.
Well, because as a hitter, you're thinking, okay, well, here this comes again. All right, don't buckle. Boom, then it blows by you. I like the pitch selection there with the fastball.
2 pitches ago was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just filthy.
It's what he's got. And we've seen him shape his breaking ball different ways. We've seen that sweeper. We've also seen, more, not a traditional 12-6, but more of a vertical breaker.
And the strikeout. That's already 4 today for Hicks.
It's a pitch right there that it appears to be maybe a little bit off the plate, but it's a pitch that home plate umpire Chris Conroy was also giving to Zach Davies. So well placed with sink that is running back. Good job by Andrew Kisner to steal that strike on the corner. Talked about Kisner behind the plate, the work that he's put in. It is so noticeable on the bottom of the zone. And a guy like Jordan Hicks, for him, last year or the year prior, that was trouble. Sink at the bottom of the zone. He's sticking those pitches now.
Breaking pitch in for a strike to the 9th place hitter Perdomo, one of their top prospects. He was in the Arizona Fall League at the age of 19. That doesn't happen very often. I mean, your top prospects are going there, but usually a little bit older than that. Grew up in the Dominican Republic. He said his favorite player was Cal Ripken Jr. They would never have much time to watch baseball or see it on TV, but when they did, he was always on the TV and always playing, so that was his guy.
That makes sense.
So first time through the lineup here for Jordan Hicks. 4 strikeouts, a walk, and a home run, and that was the only hit. Here's Varsho, who walked and then was caught stealing. As many as you have seen, and that did hit him apparently with the breaking ball. And the Cardinals, this is reviewable. They'll take a look at it for sure. Apparently it got him on that back foot. Let's take a look here. Just enough. So again, Hicks is a type 1 diabetic. He's very open about that, wants to become a inspiration for kids that deal with diabetes, but every inning he goes in has to prick his finger to test the numbers, make sure that he's okay. The day he starts, it's a little bit of a different diet. Very cautious, obviously, with his diet, keeps himself in great condition. And I think when you look at it from a baseball perspective, Brad, is if he can pitch every 5th day, realistically, how many innings can you get out of Jordan Hicks? Because he just has not pitched all that much the last essentially 3 years.
No, he hasn't, but I think that he's going to end up being a guy where, look, once you build him up to 5 innings, you mentioned all the work that he's put in, and you're going to talk to him, and you're going to have a plan of what you want it to look like. And maybe he's a guy that you end up skipping here and there to give him extra rest throughout the season. But I don't think that there's any reason to believe that he can't stay healthy and maintain this every 5th day the way that they have it built. Strong guy. Communication will be the key, though. You're right. I mean, generally, you don't see a guy jump up from. I mean, he's had less than 40 innings in the big leagues over the last 3 years. I mean, it's been a tough go for him, but I don't know, I think this is going to work.
And the 2-0 pitch with 2 outs and a runner at first. So in 19, he had 28 2/3. Dealt with some injuries that season. 2020 season, he opted out because of the issues with COVID and being a type 1 diabetic. And then last year, 2021, he had 10 innings in the big leagues, just 3 at Memphis, and that was all. The 2-1 pitch on the ground to Nolan Arenado. He makes the play. Diamondbacks strand a runner, their first of the day. Andrew Kisner to lead it off. He's coming up. Exclusive. And thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Cardinals.com/promotions on May 15th. Get a little better view on Mom's shoulder, or have Mom bench press you.
They were just doing the Simba cam at the ballpark.
Yep.
Everyone holding up their children. I appreciate you putting me down before this inning started.
You're welcome. Couldn't believe how light you were.
How did we not get on the Jumbotron, though? Just weren't looking up here, I guess.
A few years ago, I was on the Jumbotron dancing. Maybe you should take my spot here in 22. I could tell Craig Wilson and Matt Shedd and Jared Hawkup over there in the scoreboard room to make sure and get you on whatever type of dance you would like to lead the crowd in.
That's you, though. That's your thing.
I retired from that, Brad, and I felt that others should have the enjoyment of what I experienced.
You don't ever retire when you have passion like you do.
Understood, but you want to share the experiences of coming down to the ballpark with all.
Okay.
And that's why I'm a giver in this case, and I want to make sure that you have that chance.
I truly do appreciate that, Dan. Thank you.
So if you see Brad dancing, guys, get a camera on him. Be happy to put it up on the video board. The 2-2. And that is a foul ball and a broken bat. The 27-year-old Andrew Kisner came up in 19 with the Cardinals. He had 63 games he appeared in last year, and I would assume he'll match that and probably add another 20 to 40 games potentially, maybe, with the way things have played out and will play out.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get more reps. Everybody has talked about that. Yachty even in spring training, something that I've never heard come out of his mouth. Mention another catcher's name and say, yeah, he is going to play more. About Andrew Kisner, Ollie Marmol has said they're going to do a bit more of not a traditional timeshare where it's 1-for-1, but you want to give him some reps. You want to find out what you got. And look, so far so good in both aspects. Swinging the bat, he looks good.
And picks up a base hit. The Cardinals' first hit today. Leadoff single, Andrew Knizner.
Knizner gets himself a curveball down in the zone and just hangs with it. It's a good pitch, pitcher's pitch, way too close to take in a spot like that. Just lifts it out in the center.
And it brings in Paul DeYoung, the Cardinals shortstop. Runner at first is Knizner. Paul is seeing the average dip to 137. And the first pitch to him, take it for a strike.
Just seeing Paul popping things up a lot. Appearing like he's really trying to lift the ball, trying to work out of this funk. And you know how it goes. Sometimes when you're struggling, you try to end up doing more. Sometimes the easier thing is to do less. Simplify that swing a little bit. Thinking line drives, thinking up the middle the other way.
The 0-1. But you're right. It's been a lot of pop-ups. I'm sure it's intentional to try to get the ball in the air. Sometimes it can lead to bad habits, and not seeing a lot of line drives, seeing it mostly just pop-ups. And if you're going to try to get that high launch angle, it's got to be perfect.
Well, to your point too, earlier with the ball just not flying right now, there are different things that you have to try to work on. Some of these pop flies that they're not getting out of the park. Good hack there.
2 strikes on DeYoung. Long look, the 1-2. Hit out of play. DeYoung head to head with Davies is 3 for 14 with 7 strikeouts. Davies graduated from Mesquite High School in Gilbert, Arizona, as he had committed to Arizona State. Drafted by Baltimore, 26th round in 2011. Then dealt to Milwaukee for Gerardo Parra. Old foul.
That was my dream school, Dan, that I wanted to go to, Arizona State. That was it. They said, you're not talented enough, or, whatever.
But at that time, you were
I wasn't
kind of
talented enough.
You were submariner, though, weren't you? You were sidearm?
No, well, I wanted to go there out of high school. No sniffs there out of high school.
Yeah.
And then in college, I was. They dropped me down, submarine sidearm. That's how I got drafted, was as a sidearm pitcher. I got to my first camp, and Sid Maggi, pitching coach, worked with me every day. Got the arm up, actually really taught me a 2-seam fastball. But yeah, in college, Arizona State was where I wanted to go. They powerhouse program over the years. But,
Barry Bonds went there. So many great players. I think it worked out for you.
Yeah, I would say. Well, that's the thing, right? Kids, you always think you have a path, and like, this is where I have to go. Nowadays, like, I have to go to Vandy. No, you don't. You have to go somewhere where it's going to give you an opportunity to go play.
And the scout that brought you into St. Louis?
Well, there are a couple here. Manny Guerra was the scout that was always there, but Marty Meyer was
love Marty.
Love Marty. Marty Meyer, national cross checker. He had to sign off on this. Manny Guerra said, hey, I got a guy. You might like him. Maybe Manny fudged the velocity for me a couple of times. But, yeah, right place, right time for me.
The 1-2. And DeYoung hits it softly to third. And they'll get the lead man. We see Marty Meyer at every game in spring training. And so I was having lunch with him before a game. And you were doing the game with me, and he says, well, who are you doing it with? I said, I've got Brad Thompson. And he said, oh, Topper. That's all I said, Marty, what were you thinking? And he started laughing. He said, well, not only did we get a guy that helped us win a World Series, but He said, I didn't realize how funny he is. He said, that guy is hilarious.
It wasn't on the scouting report.
It wasn't.
We should really start digging in a little bit deeper on some of these guys. You know, who's going to be the right makeup character?
That's right.
Okay, it's not just about sheer velocity.
He said, oh, that topper. That's all he kept saying. He said, bring him in here. So I went and grabbed you, and we sat down and had a long chat with Marty. He's the best.
He is, and that is a job. You got to have a special eye for talent.
You
and
bet.
sometimes it's not the ones that you expect to make it. That happens a lot in that business. You get these first-round guys, doesn't always pan out.
You know what I've always been told is that you can't miss on 1 through 5. So the first 5 picks essentially should be major league players. And then they say it's 6 and beyond, you know, it's not quite the lock that you might think it would be. Where other sports, you know,
Oh, yeah.
at 6, this guy is going to contribute.
Well, because the Cardinals have so many picks oftentimes in 1 through 5. When was the last time they had a pick like that? Was it
Long time.
Braden Looper, maybe? Was he?
Might be. Even then, I don't know if it was top 5. And the 2-0 pitch. Bit low. 3-0 on Tommy Edman. With DeYoung, your runner at first base. The Cardinals have made a living, though, out of picking latter rounds and late in the first round and finding guys that find their way to the big leagues. Gary LaRocque, a big reason why, too, and his staff in the minor leagues in development. 3 balls and 1 strike.
So going back and looking, and I think this is right. Somebody will correct me if it's not, but J.D. Drew was 5th overall. And Braden Looper 2 years prior was number 3 overall.
And J.D. sat out with the Phillies, remember, and went and played for the St. Paul Saints. 3-1 pitch to Tommy Edman. And that's off the plate. So runners at first and second. You know, the Cardinals did get, because of signability issues, but Rick Ankiel would have been a top either 1 or 5, certainly. But that's another one that comes to mind. But signability was the issue. Rick has told me, he said, you know, we were going to let this thing play out as long as we could. He said, I had no intention of going to college. He said, I wanted to start my pro career and get it going.
Oh, he made the right decision.
Yes, sir. There's Harrison Bader. Rick was the #1 player in the country of that particular class coming out of high school. Off the plate, ball 1.
This comes as no surprise to anybody watching the game and hearing about Rick, but Rick is one of those guys. He's good at everything he does. You just put him into something and say, oh, hey, you want to play some ping pong? He's holding the paddle both hands, just whooping on you.
Exactly. Incredible athlete. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Bader. A ball and a strike, 1 out, 2 on.
Zach Davies just wearing out that outside corner. Can't wait on him to make that mistake over the middle, too. I mean, you're going to have to go that way.
Cardinals last couple of days, not a lot of runners in scoring position as Davies gets it, and it's thrown into center, and the Cardinals will tie the game. Scoring, it is Kisner, the second error for Arizona, and we're tied 1-1.
I don't think that was that bad of a throw right there by Zach Davies.
It would be an error on Marte. And again, this is one of those odd plays where you have the shift. So the second baseman coming in, and really when you think about Davies, he's actually with this throw leading Marte, if this is done properly, to lead him to make that play towards first.
It looked like Marte was concerned about contact right there with Tommy Edman coming in, and he pulled back on that throw. You're right, that would have led him easily, I think, even with the speed of Bader, to double him off. Needed that. The Cardinals have needed all these breaks. They're not bashing the ball around the yard here last couple of days. 3 total hits, 2 yesterday, 1 today.
Brett Strom out to visit. So runners at the corners, and maybe this is what they need to get things going. Now Tyler O'Neill. O'Neill hits it up the middle, gloved by Ahmed. A flip, a turn, and not in time with the speed of O'Neill. That scores the second run for St. Louis to make it a 2-1 Cardinals lead.
But Tyler O'Neill hit this ball hard. Luckily, he has got the wheels, because most guys, this is going to be two, and all it takes in this game is a little bit of help, and it was a slight bobble right there. Marte getting it out of his glove. And the Cardinals are the beneficiary, made that error hurt.
Let's see, with O'Neill at first and now leading, if they want to do a little running, even with 2 outs here. So fielder's choice 6-4 and a run batted in for Tyler O'Neill, his 13th. Arenado fly to left, first time up. A ball and a strike. Kia player profile, Nolan Arenado. And his career ranks in April as he gets off to good starts. Varsho, if you're wondering, the catcher today for Arizona is 8 for 31 in throwing out base stealers. And about 50% with Davies on the mound. Slightly bigger lead this time, not running, and the pitch taken inside, 2-1. So turning into a long inning for Zach Davies. 7-pitch at bat with Kisner, 8 pitches for DeYoung. That's how the inning started.
Well, you think about it too, it just should have been a quick one. Make that play at second.
The 2-1, O'Neill running, throw down to second, and got him. That'll be the first caught stealing by a catcher of St. Louis base stealers this year. Coming up after Cardinals baseball right here on Bally Sports Midwest, 30-minute special. And good luck to the Blues, taking on the Minnesota Wild, first round of the NHL playoffs. It's Peralta, Walker, and Beer. Andre Palante has been throwing in the St. Louis pen. So Peralta signed with the Cardinals as a pitcher at the age of 17 in 2004 for about $35,000. Lines it to Pujols, and the first out. 98 miles an hour, and he turned on that.
98 coming in, 112 coming out. Wow. But like a cat over there at first base. Look at him. All day. All day.
There's Christian Walker, struck out on a 3-2 slider. And that was back in the first inning. Hicks is struck out 4. The Cardinals have a lead of 2-1. And there's strike 1.
Well, the 55 pitches right now, already a season high for Jordan Hicks. We were thinking probably around 65, 70. where they want to have him.
But you know they're going to be overly cautious with Hicks.
And rightfully so. You want to make sure this works this year. Having him on this routine, you can't extend him too far. Only 42 pitches last time out.
And the 1-1 is hit out to deep left center. It is at the wall and gone. This game is tied 2-2 on a solo home run hit by Christian Walker, a hanging breaking ball, and Walker now has 5 homers this year.
Well, we've talked about the power of Christian Walker. He loves to get his arms extended. Something middle is what he's looking for. And boy, that thing just hangs up there for him. You can get him away if you execute your pitch. This one just hangs in there, hangs up. We're all knotted up here.
So 2-2. And now it is Seth Beer, who's 0 for his last 28. Hitless in the series, 4 strikeouts. But despite this rut, he still is 3rd among all rookies with 15 hits. A ball and a strike. So the Cardinals will wrap up the homestand tomorrow, then 2 in Kansas City, and then 4 with the Giants. There's a 1-1. 1-2 the count. Cardinals in a stretch of a lot of baseball. Fan brought a glove to the ballpark, makes a nice catch down that third base line. 20 games in 20 days for Ali and his crew.
Well, with that stretch of games, that's why you got to get creative. It's nice to have versatile players. You got to be able to piece things all over the place, utilize your bullpen.
That's behind him.
Well, that's uncomfortable.
Ooh.
I mean, good thing. Usual reaction is to take a step back. Beer didn't even have the opportunity to do that.
A check swing and a 3-2 count. A lot of 3-2s here early on.
He's been working for sure. This inning too looks like he's starting to get maybe a little bit worn down. Let's see if he can execute right here.
The 3-2 pitch. Missed out. And that'll be walk number 2 issued by Hicks. He's been going with the slider on the 3-2.
Yeah, and you see Ollie. I think that's going to be it for Jordan Hicks. You're seeing some arm side misses there. Obviously the one behind Beer trying to do a little bit too much. Got his work in, gave you a chance to win. It's Andre Palante time.
So Jordan Hicks pitches into the 4th, and we're tied 2-2. Club. And Friday, May 13th, 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a white 1982 inspired performance hat courtesy of Quick Trip. Cardinals.com/promotions. Hopefully a bunch of the guys from '82 will be back. Congratulations to Jim Cott, part of that championship club, as he is finally getting his due in Cooperstown and headed to the Hall of Fame. Our Chevy call to the pen. Andre Palante, last time out, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, no runs. He's worked a team high 10 innings out of the pen. That's tied for 15th most for the relievers this year in the National League. And he has made a case to stay.
He has for sure. He's seen his role really change from a guy that's coming into ball games that are already out of hand to tight ones like this.
So 1 out, runner at first, and inside to Marte. Of Grounded out his first time up. Dave McKay talking to Seth Beer. Dave, the longtime first base coach here in St. Louis. All those years with Tony La Russa. Makes his home, though, in Arizona. And after he left St. Louis, we saw him a little bit with the Cubs. But he had a scary incident. Dave McKay tripped in the dugout last spring and fell into a metal railing. And they thought he was all right. And then 2 days later, he had a spleen issue and had to go to the hospital. It was very serious there. One of the real good guys we've been around for a long time.
Well, one of the better teachers of the game of baseball, and I guess needless to say, you're around the game as long as he is. It's not just because people like you. They like him, and he's fantastic at what he does.
Two and one the count. Palante to Marte. Dave told me he never felt more pressure in anything in baseball than in 1998 throwing BP to Mark McGwire. That was his guy. So Dave McKay always threw to Big Mac. And remember, the Cardinals would open up the ballpark earlier to get fans in to see BP. There'd be 25,000 people there watching Big Mac, literally. And he said, man, I just felt so much pressure to make sure I was doing everything right.
It's understandable, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that guy is on a tear. Everybody wants to see the show. The last thing you want to do is mess it up for everybody. Mess up his reps, mess up his swing. I think about that a lot when I'm watching home run derbies. You know, during the All-Star festivities. A lot of pressure on that guy throwing.
Oh, yeah. The 2-2 pitch. And that's hit out of play. I bet Albert and Dave McKay have had a few conversations today over there at first base.
I would say a little bit of a throwback today.
Palante would love the double play. Cardinals have turned 21, third most in all of baseball. Colorado leading the way. They've got 25 and Baltimore 22. And the bullpen has gotten 10 of those double plays. And that's most in baseball. Shift on the right side. 2-2 pitch. Just got a piece. He's got the funky delivery and sells it all, doesn't he?
Yeah, it is unorthodox. Palante, it seems like the ball kind of comes out of nowhere. He dips back, then it's straight over the top. Breaking ball comes out of the exact same slot. You see some awkward swings already early, in his career with good big league hitters.
And the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And a strikeout for Palante. It's interesting how Albert is holding at the bag with a left-handed batter. And this is something that he changed midway through in St. Louis. But depending if you have a righty or a lefty and how he holds the runner on. And so in this case, he'll actually be about a foot or so off to still be able to get the tag. But by being square to the hitter, it allows him also to get in a better position to field the baseball.
The little details.
Yep. Little chopper to Palante. And underhands to Albert Pujols. So Palante gets the final 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. And we're tied up. It's 2-2. Tyler O'Neill was caught stealing to end the home half of the 3rd. Cardinals have been facing tough competition in terms of the starters. Pablo Lopez, Alcantara, Bumgarner, Kelly in this series. Max Scherzer on this homestand. That's just 5 of them. And against those 5, the ERA collectively against St. Louis is .26. 34 innings, 31 strikeouts, and they've allowed 1 run.
Wow.
Those 5.
Well, it is. I mean, that's a heck of a list that you threw out there. A lot of guys that you're going to see in the Midsummer Classic.
Absolutely.
That being said, I believe this offense is a lot better than that output. And the output in the month of April. There's more there. There's got to be more there.
So if there's not, this team will not go very far.
No, and you look at the overall, we're talking about line drives, pop-ups, leading the league in pop-ups, second lowest hard hit rate. You're just not seeing the ball driven all over the yard.
It's a broken bat. 2-2 the count. Arizona comes in fourth best in their rotation ERA at 2.73. And that's even with the game one bad start that they had. Cardinals had 15 hits in that game and then have gone quiet. They had the back-to-back 15-hit attack. That was against the Mets in the final game, and then game one of this series. But since then, pretty quiet.
No, it has been. It has been. And I still believe what we saw last year. We saw 2 months, August and September. And I realize that there's a 17-game winning streak in there. But 2 full months where this offense was one of the tops in baseball. It's the same group here. What gets it all clicking?
So 3-2 the count. Zach Davies pitching here into the fourth. And he's allowed just 1 hit. A couple of errors made behind him, including one by Davies himself. (3-2). Here comes something loud. That's hit down the right field line. Slicing and foul. Pujols on deck, and then Corey Dickerson.
Well, this crowd here at Busch Stadium just waiting for that big hit. I know it's going to be a loud ovation as that guy steps to the plate like it is every single time, but looking for something on this Sunday afternoon to get loud about.
Arenado really has been hitting the fastball well. 390 the average. Slug is 780. Third best in baseball, but yet under 50% of the time is when he gets a fastball. And that is a fair ball. The stretch hit first. Quick word from Tickets for Less.
Tickets for Less. For a better ticketing experience. Best seats, best prices, and no surprises at checkout.
Scan the crowd and I look at young fans and I see mom or dad pointing to, hey, pay attention, put down the food, Albert's up.
It really does feel like every time you get a chance to see Albert here at Busch Stadium, you get to share history. And you see a lot of that. You see a lot of videos and everybody wanting to get another glimpse at this guy.
And that'll find the seats out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. So he is at first base today. It had been 3,838 days between starts at first. Well, wearing the birds on the bat for Albert Pujols. The 1-1. Seen a lot of changeups.
Telling you, I think that's the pitch that he's going to end up doing damage on if it happens. It's going to be that changeup, middle in that he's able to drop the head on.
Fly to right, first time up. The 2-1 pitch, pulled foul. Opposition hitting just 188 coming into play against Davies and that changeup.
The impressive part with Davies today is seems like every time he tries to go away with that fastball, he either hits his spot or he misses off the plate. Has not had that arm side run, mistakes over the middle.
The 2-2. And a full count on Pujols. Change up here again.
He loves it and he can throw it in any spot.
3-2 pitch. Albert gets underneath it, pops it up left side, and out of play.
It was the changeup.
We will have an 8th pitch of the at-bat. Davies takes a deep breath. And the 3-2. Foul territory. And the catch is made. Pujols is 0 for 2. Dickerson grounded out to second, first time up. John Mozeliak at the event at IMC yesterday said, it is still hard to imagine, if you would have told me 10 years ago that we'd be having games in which Albert, Yadi, and Waino are still playing, much less with us. He said, I'd have thought you're crazy. No way that could happen. But here they are, so it's going to be a fun year, no doubt.
Yeah, you know, it's got a chance to be a really special year, and we haven't seen this club play its best baseball yet. And to me, that's when these guys are going to be thriving down the stretch, big games with a lot on the line.
That'll sink and drop for a base hit for Corey Dickerson. Thinking 2, hustling out of the box to second and in there. Little blue double off the bat of Corey Dickerson, and he's 1 for 2.
Well, I know the Cardinals haven't had a ton of offense in the last couple of games, but something that they have had when they are hitting the ball, incredibly aggressive on the base pass. And to get 2 on this, you better be thinking it right out of the box. It's a changeup. It's down and away. Really good job of Dickerson to be able to stay with this. And he is busted hard the entire way. He sees he's got an opportunity, and he takes it.
It's the first extra base hit for Dickerson this year. Go ahead run in scoring position, tied 2-2, and now it's Dylan Carlson. Struck out his first time up. Room on the left side for Dylan. And a big gap in right center. And the 1-0 is a broken bat hit to second baseman Ketel Marte. Cardinals strand a runner, their second today. Inning number 5 rolls in when we come back.
Paul DeJong has been working nonstop, trying to get back on track, but the former All-Star has been scuffling at the plate. John Mozeliak told me this about Paul. Simply put, this league is about production. Yes, we want to be patient. Yes, we want to give him opportunities. But you've got to start getting it done. Mo said whatever adjustments he needs to make, he needs to do it, because at some point we need to see production out of that position. Dan Paul has been putting in the work, just looking to get back.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. And yeah, clearly the combination of Sosa DeJong in terms of defense has been well above league average, but offensively they need to get it going.
Oh, they do for sure. When you're looking at just output from that spot in terms of average, the shortstop position is hitting 145 for the Cardinals. That is 29th in all of baseball. Only the Kansas City Royals have less output from the shortstop position.
So here's the 0-1 to the shortstop of the Diamondbacks, Nick Ahmed. Palante got the final 2 outs in the top of the 4th with a strikeout and a ground out. Hicks 3 1/3. 2 hits, 2 runs, a couple of home runs, solo shot, struck out 4 and walked 2. And the 1-1. Playing off the line at first is Pujols. Outfield straight away. And the 2-1 pitch. 2-2. Ahmed here, then Perdomo and Varsho. The 2-2. Taken high. Full count. A lot of full counts from Cardinal pitching today.
Yeah, there have been. That one right there just slipped out of the hand of Palante. You can just see it as soon as it came out of his hand. The big hump in that breaking ball up in the zone.
And the 3-2. In the air out to deep left. And the Diamondbacks have hit another home run. Ahmed is red hot. His second homer in as many days. Arizona on top 3-2. The first run that Andre Palante has allowed in the big leagues. Via the home run.
Well, that's something you just realize. Mistakes get hit, and they get hit hard. This is a breaking ball up in the zone. Andrew Kisner, the last 2 pitches with that breaking ball, was tapping his glove in the dirt, saying, get it down, get it down. And it just rolls out of his hands.
And there is strike 1 on Perdomo. So Ahmed has popped 3 home runs. He's driven in 4. And one of the hottest hitters in the lineup for Arizona. Cardinals with a shift on the right side. Perdomo grounded out to second, first time up, fouls it back, 0-2. Pulls it. And Pujols is there, takes it himself, and the first out here in the top of 5. While we have a moment, quick word from Rally House.
Play ball, St. Louis. Shop the latest in Cardinals style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
Top of the lineup, Varsho. Walked, caught stealing, hit by a pitch, left stranded in the 3rd. And the 0-1. 0-2. Father Gary played 8 major league seasons. Cubs, Pirates, Reds, and Phillies. He's now a scout with the Pirates. Sister played basketball at Colorado State. And another sister played softball at Purdue. Pretty athletic family. And that'll roll foul.
Some good English on that one. Needed that spin.
Take a left turn.
That's how you check up your irons, isn't it?
Usually a little backspin, Brad. I know yours go right and left, but yeah, you just.
Yeah, mine's usually slicing across the green.
Right.
Never really getting there in a direct fashion.
I wish I could do that. And that is well hit into deep right. And it's off the wall. Varsho with his speed standing up at second. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. And Luplow, his first home run of the year. As he went the opposite way against Jordan Hicks.
It's an impressive swing right there by Luplow. I mean, that ball caught a little bit more plate than Jordan Hicks wanted it to, but it had good velocity on it. It was down. Just a nice swing, letting the ball travel.
And he's 1 for 2. Varsho hits it off the proficient sign, the right field wall. Stand-up double. Arizona with 4 hits. All have been extra base hits. 3 homers and a double. Nick Whitgren throwing in the bullpen for St. Louis. Hit sharply, diving stop. DeYoung and the pick. No, Albert can't hold on.
Well, what a play right there by Paul DeYoung.
They gave DeYoung an error on this play.
That's not gonna stay.
Wouldn't think. And really not a bad throw for the hop either.
No, Albert just hasn't had as many reps over there. Couldn't pick it.
It's 3 hard hit balls in this inning against Palante. So runners at first and second in a 1-run game. This will allow Whitgren to get loose as well. But that gets your attention, that hard contact right now.
No, it does for sure. And for Palante right now, not that you want to nibble, okay, but you got to stay out of the middle. And that has been the case on all these hard hit balls. They're just in the middle of the zone, whether it be the breaking ball rolling in or fastball. That one missed middle there. Got to start working these corners a little bit.
So first and second, and Peralta will come to the plate. Struck out swinging and lined out to Pujols. Got Cinco de Mayo coming up. And David Peralta, he doesn't like that date. He was released in 2009 and he said, everybody loves Cinco de Mayo. I don't like that.
I hate it.
Was released that day. So he was ready to give up baseball, and his parents are the ones that pursued him to try hitting again. And he played in a government-run independent league in Venezuela. So after he had signed with the Cardinals in 04 as a pitcher, didn't work out, goes back to be a hitter. Then he goes back to the U.S. without an agent and wound up being with the Rio Grande Valley White Wings in independent baseball. Worked at McDonald's for gas money to drive to Texas to play with them. Slept on an air mattress for the first season. And somebody found him playing independent baseball and brought him to Arizona. The fly ball out to shallow left. Catch made by Tyler O'Neill. And just to finish the story, he met Tony La Russa. He's at Double-A in Mobile. Remember, Tony, after he left St. Louis, is running the Diamondbacks. And he went up to him and he said, hey, I love your swing. He goes, we're going to see you in a couple of weeks. And he said he never forgot that conversation. 2 weeks later, he's called up to the big leagues and has never looked back.
It's great. We were talking about different paths to the big leagues. And the thing to remember for any young player is it's not always going to go the way that you expect it to. I mean, sometimes you get lucky and you have that storybook start to finish. Everything goes the way that you want. But for the most part, you're going to have some different routes that you have to take. But if you still love the game, if you're willing to put in the time and the effort, the good things can be there for you.
It's amazing, though, sleeping on an air mattress the entire year and then working at McDonald's to get your gas money to go play independent baseball.
For him, those are the guys you root for.
Absolutely. 2 outs and 2 on. Christian Walker has homered today. Struck out on a 3-2 slider by Hicks in the first, and then the solo home run hit in the fourth. Two runners on and 2 outs. The fastball in there for a strike. And by the way, Peralta is now played in just about 10 seasons of Major League Baseball, and from the air mattress and gas money he's made in his career over $30 million. So the investment paid off. I love that.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. It's not always easy. end up putting in the work, and good things happen.
Afford a waterbed.
Those still a thing?
High-end mattresses.
Do you have a waterbed?
I do not. No.
Have you ever owned a waterbed?
No, I have not. You?
No.
Chopped up the middle. DeYoung to the bag and the out. Arizona will strand a couple, but they get a solo home run by Nick Ahmed, and they take the lead 3-2. Fans ages 16 and older take home a Busch Stadium exclusive Cardinals purse. Navy handbag features gold medal logo on it. It's on the front and many upgraded components of the purse. Cardinals.com/promotions. He's either dancing or maybe nature's calling.
It could be both, Dan. You never know. Saw a sign too. First Cardinal game for a young fan. Kid needs to see some offense. He needs to see things firing around.
I've seen a lot of games, and I need to see some offense.
Heard that.
Here's Kisner, who picked up a base hit to center. The Cardinals have 2 hits. Kisner single to center in the 3rd, and then the Corey Dickerson double. Yesterday, the offense was shut down, and so far so good for Davies.
2 hits yesterday is all you got.
In the air to left field. Peralta is there, and he'll make the catch. First out here in the home half of the 5th. And it brings in DeYoung. Widener begins to throw in the bullpen, a right-hander for Arizona. I still don't understand how you can give Paul DeYoung an error on that play in the top of the 5th.
I don't either. I mean, most of the time when you leave your feet, you generally don't get an error anyhow. He saved the base hit. Just a low throw that Albert couldn't corral. To me, that's not an error.
Grounded into a fielder's choice first time up, scored a run. And the 1-1. Grounded to short. And DeYoung retired. So 2 outs and Tommy Edman. Davies had 81 pitches. And he has completed 5 innings in 2 of the 4 starts this year. Has not gone beyond 5 innings in his last 10 starts, dating back to a head-to-head matchup with Colorado. And that was in July, late July of last year.
Well, that pitch right there matches his season high. 82 is the most that he's thrown. It happened in his 2nd start, 4 1/3 against the Mets. So they have not been getting him much deeper than this as far as pitch count goes.
And the 1-0. A ball and a strike on Edman. Grounded to short, walked and scored. The time that you were coming through with the St. Louis Cardinals, the mindset of the organization, because it was Dave Duncan, was sinker slider. And Brett Strom is essentially the other way around. You know, he's talking about throwing four-seamers.
Curveball.
Yeah, and it's four-seamers up in the zone. Arizona last year was last in 4-seam fastballs up. So he leaves Houston, thought he would retire. He lives in the Phoenix area and said, took about 24 hours. I needed a job, but one team called. It was Arizona. They really do credit him, though, with a lot of the success that they've had here in the first month or so.
Well, how could you not? You look at what this rotation is doing. Got a couple of guys in the top 10 in ERA. I know that Zach Davies didn't come in with fantastic numbers, but he's looking pretty darn good today. Been giving him a chance. What has been a problem for the Diamondbacks has been the offense.
And Brent was the pitching coordinator for the Cardinals in '08, so had a history with Jeff Luhnow, and he brought him to Houston. And brought him there after they had had 3 seasons of losing at least 100 games, and then they become a very good staff. And part of that is you're drafting high, but he did a very nice job. That is a foul ball. It's kind of a similar spot here. I mean, you look at Arizona, awful season a year ago, and then comes in and see if he can't work a little magic.
Pretty tough division they're working in, though.
I'd say
top to bottom right now too. How about the Rockies start? Didn't see that coming.
I think that was Bucky there in the background. And that's a base hit for Tommy Edman. 2-out hit for Edman. Brent better be careful if Bucky is within an earshot. Hey, Brent. Remember that time in '08? You were a pitching coordinator, right?
Bucky could tell some stories.
So that's Bucky. He works in our crew. There he is, Bucky right there. Amazingly, he's having a conversation. It's tough to get a word out of him. Here's Bader after the base hit to right. And he pops it up. Catch made. Cardinals strand a runner, their 3rd of the afternoon. Diamondbacks have the lead 3-2. Second career start appearance against Kansas City. Faced the Royals as a member of the Blue Jays last year. They carried a no-hit bid in that game into the 6th inning. And that was in a doubleheader. That was a 7-inning game. He had a no-hitter going into the 6th. And last time out for Matz, 4 runs to his former team, New York, all in the 2nd inning. And then eventually the Cardinals erased a 3-run deficit and won it 10-5. So he'll get the call against Greinke tomorrow here at the ballpark. Chevy call to the pen, Nick Whitgren. It'll be Seth Beer, Marte, and Smith.
Dan, where were you at with the 7-inning doubleheaders and the fact that Madison Bumgarner did not give up a hit?
I meant to bring this. Yeah, I meant to bring this up with you the other night.
I say no hitter.
I do too. Those are the rules.
That's it.
That's what he was given. He did his job. It was against Atlanta, I believe. So I would give him the no hitter.
I don't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, those are the rules that you're playing by. Even if you want to throw a little asterisk next to it and say,
I'm fine with that.
Like,
yeah.
Hey, 7-inning game. It's still, that's all he had.
That's right. The 2-0 pitch. And I'm glad that we are back to the 9 innings this year. We have not had an extra inning game yet for the Cardinals, but the ghost runner at second base.
That's the weirdest thing. I understand it. I know what they're doing. I kind of hope it doesn't stay around forever.
Lined and caught. That's DeYoung. The shift. Grab your friends, pivot down to Busch Stadium Friends Night. Don't miss a pregame concert of 90s greats by St. Louis's own Proud Larry. Cardinals.com/theme. There's Marte, 0 for 2, ground out and a strikeout. Lefties and righties both hitting .250 against Nick Whitgren coming into this appearance. Last time out had an inning against the Diamondbacks. 16 pitches, 13 strikes. Did not allow a hit.
It's a good spot right there on that cutter too to Marte. Got to make sure you get that in off the plate. There's room upstairs too to Marte, especially away. Fastball's up are good. Just got to make sure that's not towards the inner half of the plate.
And the 1-1 pitch by Nick Whitgren. Shift on the right side. Had him spun around, and it's 1-2. Cardinals will have O'Neill, Arenado, and Pujols looking ahead to the 6th inning in the bottom half for St. Louis. One-two pitch hit down the right field line. That ball is fair and into the corner. Marte can really run on his way to second, thinking 3. And the throw is offline, not in time, kept in front by Arenado. And a 1-out triple for Ketel Marte, his first hit in this game. And he's starting to pick it up.
He is. You knew it was a matter of time. One of the best players in the league in 2019, 4th in the MVP voting. Trying to elevate, just ended up middle. Quick hands to get on top of that ball.
And imagine the Cardinals bring the infield in. Crowd today 45,123. Third sellout this year. 4-5-1-2-3. Infield indeed is in. And Pavin Smith at the plate. Ground ball. Pujols could not field it cleanly, and they'll get the out at first. And it's a 4-2 game.
Well, you have to know that any time that you don't have Goldie over at first, that's going to be a factor. That guy, as good as it comes around the bag, this one scorched over to Albert and just clanks off the hand.
He was shaking that right hand. He caught that barehanded. He's still looking at it right now. He is due up for the Cardinals' 3rd. So 2 outs and nobody on. And it's a 4-2 Diamondback lead. And a strike to Nick Ahmed, who is homered today. Homered in back-to-back games. And he's 1 for 2. Six for his last 12. 3 home runs now and 2 doubles. He's driven in 3. Outfield straight away, and the 1-0 pitch by Whitgren. 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you got the part of the order coming up that you want. You got 3, 4, 5. Get this guy, get in there. Time to get something going.
The next pitch by Whitgren doesn't get the call off the plate. And it's a 2-2 count.
Pretty good pitch he spoiled right there. Changeup. Came into action today too, hitting .429 against right-handed pitching. That got better. He's heating up.
Foul back again. Pitch number 17 of the inning from Nick Wickren on a 2-2 now to Ahmed. Hanging in there. Davies able to go 5 in this game. Looks like they'll go to their bullpen. And allowed just 3 hits.
Davies was not missing much. And I still believe that this offense should be able to get to Zach Davies. There's no question. But his misses were off the plate. I thought he mixed it up really well. Happy to see somebody other than him. I'm guessing they are.
And that'll be a strikeout. So Wickren gets the K. Diamondbacks pick up another run and they lead it midway through 6. 4-2. O'Neill, Arenado, Pujols coming up. Presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals, not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Davies gives Arizona 5, exits with a 4-2 lead. Taylor Widener is the new pitcher. Came up in 2020. Parts of a couple of big league seasons. And just recalled from Reno AAA. Diamondbacks even used him as a starter at times last season. And the first pitch is strike to Tyler O'Neill. He struck out, grounded into a fielder's choice, picked up an RBI, his 13th, and then was caught stealing.
You see O'Neill even on that take right there, already kind of pulling off a little bit. Just need to be able to stay with this pitch. So watching some of his video this morning from last year, and the stance, all the setup is the same as it was last year, but he was really staying on the ball, and then the pitch inside, instead of opening up the hips and pulling off of it, he really just trusted his hands and caught the ball out in front. Just kind of in between right now. When you're talking about a pivotal piece of this offense, this is the guy.
And the 0-2 fouled back. Oh, 2 pitch again. Just got a piece. As Widener is from Aiken, South Carolina. The refrigerator came from there. William Perry scored a touchdown in the 1985 Super Bowl with the Bears. Also does some pretty good commercials too.
Dan, I think that you could do the Super Bowl shuffle.
No, sir.
I bet you could.
You know, the Big Show Wrestling is from
the Big Show, the wrestler?
Yep.
Same place?
He's from Aiken, South Carolina. The 1-2 to O'Neill. Widener was the former minor league pitcher of the year and was rated as a top prospect at one point coming up through the system with Arizona. I'm just trying to figure out, is it better to have him starting or relieving? The 1-2 pitch, and O'Neill hits it out to center. It's well hit, and it's off the wall. Leadoff double, Tyler O'Neill.
Been waiting all day for the Cardinals to have a ball that sounded like that off the bat. Finally drove a baseball. This one is crushed. 107 miles an hour off the bat. It's a fastball middle. And he did exactly what he is supposed to do with that pitch. Gave it a ride.
Leadoff double. And now Arenado. He's 0 for 2 today. Fly to left and grounded out to third. Cardinals have not had many opportunities with runners in scoring position. Majority of them came in the first game. And they're 2 for 17 in the series. 0 for 3 today. And 0 for their last 7 in this spot.
It's also a club that hasn't had a lot of come from behind victories. I believe they got 2 on the season. I'd like to see that. I mean, that's something when you talk about winning ball clubs. You get down, but you're never out. And I still believe that that's the kind of offense that the Cardinals will have throughout the season. Is one, no matter what it looks like, they'll be able to battle themselves back into it. And they got that kind of bullpen.
Especially when you turn it over and you start getting to these guys. When right, it should be a very good lineup. The 2-0 pitch. Fly ball into shallow right. David Smith with the catch. And it brings in Albert. Blues and Wild open up tomorrow night. Hockey on Valley Sports Midwest. Coverage starts at 8. John Kelly, Darren Pang will have the call from Minnesota. Game number 1, 8. And Royals and Cardinals will be on Valley Sports Midwest Extra again. Our coverage beginning at 11:30 tomorrow. They have moved up the start time with apparently really bad weather potentially coming through the Midwest. So they want to make sure and get that in. And 12:15 with our first pitch.
I got the Blues in 6, Dan.
I'm with you. I do too. Albert is 0 for 2 today. Maybe he jumps right on that first pitch. When you've seen Albert as much as we have, some things just they don't change.
You got an RBI situation. He's looking to hunt something, especially a fastball. That one just rides in on the hands. But you were absolutely right. He was ready for it.
So O'Neill at second with his first extra base hit at Busch since opening day. And Pujols could tie it with one swing. The Diamondbacks starters, what a job they have done. It's the 15th time this season the starters have held the opponent to 1 or no earned runs. Getting it done. It gives you a shot.
It is getting it done. You clean up a few things too. This club defensively has had its gaffes. Those are things that they really tried to focus on this spring after a rocky year last year defensively. We've seen it pop up in this series. I think he's ready to jump off the bench here in a second. That big swing.
The 2-1 pitch to Pujols. Off the plate. Well, you gear up for a fastball here. Potentially on 3-1. Here it comes to Albert. Rips it out to left center field. O'Neill will score. And it's now a 4-3 Arizona lead. Albert Pujols smoked it into left center.
The fans here at Busch Stadium were waiting for that. O'Neill got it started with the double off the wall. And then Albert Pujols sees one up. It's the BJC difference maker. Fastball up in the zone. Drives in O'Neill. Cuts the deficit to 1 run. Just his second hit of the year against a right-hander. And Yachty loves seeing him doing what he's doing. Look at him.
And a pitching change coming up for Arizona. Kyle Nelson, the lefty. Albert Pujols in that sweet swing. And this one brings in O'Neill. He was ready for that 3-1 pitch.
He was. Got something elevated. Needed that. Big crowd at Busch Stadium today. Been waiting all day long to cheer number 5 and got a great opportunity there.
Now Kyle Nelson, the 6'1", 180-pound lefty. There's Chevy called to the pen. He's with the Indians and comes over now to Arizona. Cardinals counter as Corey Dickerson will be pinch hit for, and this is Edmundo Sosa. We also have Donovan, Molina, and Goldie on the bench. That's a scheduled day off for Goldie, and assuming that everything is right, you're saving him for late in the game if you need him.
Well, hope is you're able to bust something open here, not need him, but with the way things have been going here recently with the offense, there's a good chance you might end up seeing that guy.
And the 0-2. Sosa as a pinch hitter is 4 for 22. Talked about it yesterday. He has more hit by pitches than he does walks. That's a lot. 133rd game for him today.
I couldn't believe it was either the same amount or more hit by pitches than Ozzie Smith in his career.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Julian Javier, Ozzie Smith, Bernard Gilkey. These are guys that had, one was over 2,300 plate appearances. Julian Javier over 6,000. Ozzie had over 8,200. And that was plate appearance number 366 for Sosa. And he's been hit 21 times.
He's not like leaning into everything. He sits close and he's not afraid to get hit. But boy, yeah, those numbers, that's something.
Now Dylan Carlson. He struck out swinging and grounded out to second. 0 for 2. Albert Pujols, your runner at first base. One ball and one strike.
I like that rip right there. 1-0 from Dylan Carlson. The swing from the right side seems to be just a little bit more compact than the one from the left side. You've seen him get around some baseballs, really susceptible to the off speed. The changeup has been difficult for him to stay back on, rolling over a bit. I like that direct path on the swing.
Arizona with a shift on the left side. 2-1 pitch. And Carlson hits it into center field. And the catch made by Luplow. Well, Pujols the single to center to bring in Tyler O'Neill. Fun to have him back. He's driven in 5 this year.
3 1/3, 63 pitches for Jordan Hicks today. Ollie Marmol told me before the game it's a process as Jordan settles in as a starter, and it's not just about his stuff. Ollie said we all love what we see from him on the mound, but the thing I'm excited about is to see the way he locks in between starts, the way he asks questions, and the way he prepares. He's doing all the right things, and Ollie said what we're seeing is a young player maturing.
Hicks today 3 1/3, 2 hits, both were solo home runs. Then it was Palante inning at 2/3. Whitgren had the 6th, and now Cabrera here in the 7th. Five hits aside in the ball game. And it's our Chevy call to the pen. Switch hitter Perdomo. Brendan Donovan is into the game at second base.
That's interesting.
Tommy Edman would have been up third, and he had a base hit, a walk, and a run scored today. So Donovan takes over at second base. Grounder, DeYoung to his left, and he makes the play. So the straight change, Donovan for Edman. Sosa pinch hit in the DH spot. That's Dickerson. So left on the bench would be Yadier Molina and Paul Goldschmidt.
Well,
Dalton Varsho now.
From a pitching standpoint, Dan, you can kind of see how this one's going to lay out. Ryan Helsley got hot yesterday, didn't get into action. You assume you see him in this one. Giovanni Gallegos, you'd love it to be in that save situation, but he hasn't thrown since the Mets series as well. You're set up. You got your relievers that you want. You got them all ready. Now you got to give them a lead.
And the 0-1. Cabrera pitched yesterday, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit, struck out a man, 13 pitches. Lefties are hitless against him thus far in this young season, 0 for 9 with 3 strikeouts. And the righties at 217. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Varsho. One ball and 2 strikes. No one throwing in the bullpen for Arizona. Nelson came in, struck out Sosa, and then got Carlson to fly to center. Cardinals have Kisner, DeYoung, and then Brendan Donovan due up. Cody Whitley grabs a baseball and begins to throw in the St. Louis bullpen. Varsho just got a piece. Curious to find out what the situation is with Tommy Edman. I mean, clearly it would seem like an odd move to have a straight switch at this point in the game and the way that he's swinging the bat.
Well, and him defensively, you're not going to do that. You wouldn't take that guy out of the ball game. So I'm sure we'll get word on that one quickly, and you hope it's nothing serious.
And Nolan Gorman has been playing second base in the minor leagues after the addition of Nolan Arenado last year. They shifted him to second. I asked Ben Johnson the other day about him, the AAA manager at Memphis. This is Jordan Luplow, who is homered today, reached on an error. I said, what did you think when it first happened? He said, to be quite honest with you, I wasn't sure this was going to be the right transition for Nolan defensively, but he said, man, does this guy work? He said it's getting him. It's not a problem of work and effort. He's going to do that, but getting him to do the right things in all that work, the wasted time, don't waste certain things. And he really feels, though, that he could play it the position at this level.
Well, you know this. It's not going to look like it looks when Tommy plays it. He's just
not many will.
Yeah,
right.
Just a different athlete at second base. But can you do the job? Can you make the routine plays?
I really think about how Tommy has come in on so many balls. It seems like, especially in this homestand, the ones that you have to charge from the outfield grass. Can he come close to making some of those plays, or do you have to align him differently then because of it?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I don't think you can position Nolan Gorman like you position Tommy Edman. Just doesn't move the same way.
Here's a 1-2. Well hit. Deep left. Luplow, his second home run, and another home run hit by Arizona in this game. They've got 4 of them.
Jordan Luplow's gone both ways with his home run, too. His first home run of the day in the first inning off of Jordan Hicks. It was down and away, 98. Drove it to right field. This one elevated against Genesis Cabrera and pulls it into the bullpen.
We talk about the baseball not flying. That's not the problem today.
Well, the balls are fine now.
Arizona with 4 home runs and a couple late in the game yesterday. So 6 basically in the last 9 innings of play. And the 1-0.
Well, I got to tell you, coming into this series, this was not a situation that I had envisioned where the Cardinals could potentially drop 3 of 4 to the Diamondbacks.
No way.
It just shouldn't happen. Still got time in this ball game. They battled back last inning, but gave that run back there.
And Peralta pounded that off the leg or the foot, ankle, limping a little bit behind home plate. Now they're going to take a look at him. May have hit the back of the leg, and sometimes we'll see hitters when this happens. Take a look. Yeah, a little bit, but then it starts to tighten up when you put a little weight on it.
You end up getting the calf and then the side of that shin. You lose a little feeling there.
5th multi-home run game for Luplow. His last happening in 2019 when he was with Cleveland at Washington.
Didn't really come into this thinking that it was a power hitting Diamondback team, but when you look at 3 true outcomes and you look at a ball club that scores via the home run, the Diamondbacks are the fourth most in baseball. Their runs via the home run. I mean, that's been their offense. It's boom or bust.
Obviously not hitting for a high average. Came in right around the 175 mark. That was one of the lowest in the history of the game in the month of April. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. And Christian Walker on deck. So 2 outs, nobody on, and the 3-1 pitch. A 2-out walk following the home run. While we have a moment, quick word. St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Cardinals will go back to their pen with Walker coming up. Cody Whitley is loose and he'll face Walker. We step aside. It's 5-3. You can easily list your tickets with StubHub. Even use the free seller toolkit. Manage the price of your tickets and sell your tickets in just a quick few taps of your phone without any stress. Download the StubHub app today. So Cody Whitley in, and he'll face the cleanup hitter Christian Walker. Struck out swinging in the first and a home run in the 4th. 4 home runs hit by the Diamondbacks. All have been solo homers. And it's our Chevy call to the pen. Numbers on Cody Whitley. First time this year that Arizona has had a 4 home run game. They had just 2 of those a year ago. Runner at first is David Peralta. And Walker on the first pitch hits it out of play. So again, Tommy Edman pulled straight up for Brendan Donovan, and we were just checking, but Nolan Gorman is in the lineup for the Memphis Redbirds. They play at 4 o'clock against Durham. Here's the 0-1 pitch.
I'm sure as we go, certainly after the game, get a little clarity on that Tommy Edman situation. But as you mentioned, Dan, I mean, the way the game was going, there's you're not going to take him out of the ball game unless something is really bothering him.
And the 1-1 with 2 outs and a runner at first from Cody Whitley. That's strike 2. Pierre Flappier is here as they come from France every year to check out a series, and this year it's against Arizona. Great to have Pierre here.
It was the Flappier family, you say?
That's right. They come from France every year to check out a series, and they watch us on MLB.tv. And the 1-2. So good to have Pierre here and the family. 2-2 the count with 2 outs and a 2-run lead for Arizona. Check on the runner. That's Peralta.
Cody Whitley's got that really good changeup. Showed him a fastball up in the zone on the 1-2. I think you get him to swing over. Changeup here.
Cardinals will have Kisner, DeYoung, and Donovan due up. The 2-2 by Whitley. Long look and a step off. And he struck him out. Walker didn't like it. Catches the outside corner. And it's time to stretch. 5-3. Ball is brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. St. Louis Children's, only St. Louis Children's, Missouri's #1 pediatric hospital. And by Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Beautiful day, a sellout. 3rd of the season here at Busch, in a 5-3 lead for Arizona. Getting late, bottom of the 7th. It is Kisner, DeYoung, and Donovan. Kisner today a base hit to center and also flied out to left. Nelson came in with 1 out and a runner at first base. After the single by Pujols drove in O'Neill. Cut the lead to 1, and now it's at 2. 5-3. The 0-1 inside. Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. The 1-1. 1-2. So 2 hits yesterday, a total of 5 today for this St. Louis offense. Trying to get it going. The 1-2. Evens it up at 2-2. Another reminder, it's 12:15 tomorrow. Game time has been moved up because of bad weather coming in. Want to get the ball game in. 12:15 with our first pitch.
Love to be able to ride into that game with a little momentum. Need some late inning magic here.
Off the foot of Kisner, section 357 here at the ballpark. Zach Greinke and Steven Matz tomorrow. That should be fun.
Yeah, Steven Matz is looking for his first good start at home.
Yeah.
He's battled. His first one, he gave up 7. Last time out.
Fights it off. And a base hit. 2-hit day for Kisner. Little bloop into left.
Hey, you'll take it. You'll take it. Anything right there. It ends up getting in on his hands. He's able to serve it over the shortstop. Needed to get something going here. So for Steven Matz, it's been a couple of outings at home that haven't gone his way. Good at home. As you see the power there, the strength of Andrew Kisner to be able to serve that out into left field. So I'm looking forward to watching Matz tomorrow.
Here's Paul DeYoung. And strike one. Hitting to a fielder's choice, scored on an error, and grounded out to short. I'm sure for Paul right now, everything seems like it's an 0-2 count.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just falling behind quickly. You know, it's like quicksand. Try to get out of it. Ollie did talk to us about Paul the other day, saying mentally, hey, he's in a good spot. He's not beating himself down. He's just working to get out of it.
Colorado is up 9-1 on Cincinnati. They have 3 wins this year, the Reds.
I know. I was looking at this division coming into action today. The Brewers had a 3-game lead on the Cardinals. They just dropped the game to the Cubs today. But if things stay the way they are in this ball game, it'll be a 3-game deficit. Just thinking about how important it is to win the division for the Cardinals. I realize that there are expanded postseason, but I'm looking around. You look out in the West, talk about you mentioned the Rockies beating up on the Reds. The Rockies are playing good baseball. I don't think they're a playoff team.
And the 1-2 is a base hit for DeYoung. Kisner on his way to third. DeYoung to second. And the Cardinals have something going.
You know that felt good.
Oh, boy.
You know that one felt good for Paul DeYoung. Got a slider up in the zone. He started out in the hole. Seen a couple of these, though, and that one looked good.
Second and third. Nobody out. Down by 2 here in the home half of the 7th. And it'll be Brendan Donovan as Tommy Edman was taken out of the game. Still have not gotten word as to why. So Donovan a chance here. And Tommy had been on base twice in this game with a walk, a run scored, and a single.
Boy, and you know how tough Tommy is, too. So it has to be something that was really going to limit what he was able to do on the field in this spot. Brent Strom, the Strominator, is not afraid to get in there a little bit when he's talking to his pitcher on the mound.
Gets after it.
Yeah, a little finger pointing. The point and the finger and the yell in his face, that's his version of Mike Maddox's claw. You know, it's his go-to.
So young Brendan Donovan, great opportunity here. His first plate appearance, and the first pitch is a strike. Donovan, born in Germany, as his father was traveling in the military. He picked up his first major league hit in this series on Thursday night. And the home plate umpire saying he got a piece of it, puts him in the hole, 0-2. Bader on deck. And you know the right-hander's coming in to face Bader. They will not let him face the lefty Nelson. The 0-2 pitch to Brendan Donovan. Off the plate, 1-2. It's Middleton getting loose. Brian Helsley up in the St. Louis pen. A base hit could tie it.
These are the spots as a young player you dream about right here.
The 1-2 puts it in play, slowly hit, and a run will score. That'll get the run in. Cuts a lead to 5-4. And a chance for Bader with a runner at third and DeYoung. Good job by Brendan Donovan to put it in play. Picks up his first major league RBI.
Guy just did his job right there. The last thing you can do in that situation is swing and miss. The punch out is going to kill you. It's a rally killer. This pitch is a foot outside, and he's able to just get bat to ball and get something going.
Scores Kisner to make it 5-4. Keenan Middleton to face Bader when we come back. You just push it towards that right side and tie it up.
Well, what you're talking about there too, Dan's got to be the thought process for Harrison. Anything in, your hands are fast enough to be able to turn on it, but that slider right there, the thought process has to be going the other way with it.
In the hole, 1 and 2, and the next two, Bader. Right past Stubby, clap foul. Mark Melancon was put on the IL a couple of days ago. He would be their closer. So everybody has kind of moved up a spot in the bullpen for Torey Lovullo. And the 1-2 pitch. Bader hits it out to deep left. It's at the wall. Gone! It's gone! Bader, 2-run blast. Birds on top. Here in the 7th. What a time for your first home run in 2022.
Harrison had fouled off a tough slider beforehand. Middleton goes with the fastball, tries to get in on him. Just talked about how fast the hands of Harrison Bader are, and he showed him off right there. What a swing.
The fans want the curtain call. And now it's Tyler O'Neill. Fouled back.
I mean, if that doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what you're doing.
Kind of a wake-up call right now for everybody.
Yeah, this place is electric right now. Team needed that. And they needed more games like this. You fall in a hole, it happens. You should have the offense, as we've talked about, to get back into any game.
Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri thanks to that 2-run blast. First of the year, Harrison Bader. And the 0-2. Out of play. That is the first home run by a Cardinal outfielder since Tyler O'Neill on opening day.
I mean, I knew it had been a minute. I didn't know it had been that long.
And the 0-2 struck him out. Yeah, Carlson still without a home run. Bader gets his first of the season, and O'Neill had the opening day homer. Nolan Arenado.
How about Harrison, too, in that spot? Gets moved up to the 2-hole in the lineup on a day where Paul Goldschmidt has the scheduled off day and steps up with a big swing of the bat late.
2 outs, nobody on. Arenado with the drive. Deep left. It is gone. Oh, did he jump on that baby? Nolan with number 6. Now we're having a little fun.
From a home run drought for the outfield that is stopped by Harrison Bader to a guy that has been one of the hottest hitters in the league for the first month of this season. Jumps on the first fastball he sees up in the zone. It makes it 7-5. This place is going nuts.
The strike to Pujols, home run number 275 in the career of Nolan Arenado. The Cardinals have picked up 4 runs, and now it's Albert Pujols. The 0-1. His 120th home run against the NL West. The bat of Arenado, active leader. The 1-1. First multi-home run game by the Cardinals since April 15th at Milwaukee, when they had 2 home runs in that contest. And the 1-2 pitch to Pujols. The strikeout. The Cardinals, though, do some damage. Pick up 4 runs. Brendan Donovan put the ball in play. That scored a run. That left the ballpark. And so did this one. 7-5, St. Louis.
2 sweet swings, Bader and Arenado. Now it's all of a sudden, it's Cardinals in the lead.
Back in the game, back in the lead, and we're going to tell you all about it after the game is over.
Can't wait. Now back to Dan McLaughlin and Brad Thompson.
All right, guys, thanks. Looking forward to the post-game show with Alexa Dat and Jimmy Ballgame. 7-5 our score. Davies went 5, left with a lead. Luplow, couple of home runs. Hicks went 3 1/3. Bader, key home run, 2-run shot to put St. Louis on top, and then Arenado added a solo home run. And the Cardinals have the lead of 7-5. They have used Hicks, Palante for an inning and 2/3, Whitgren, Cabrera, Whitley, and now Ryan Helsley. And the first pitch to Seth Beer. Start the 8th against the shift. Circled by DeYoung. Nicely done. It's not an easy play right there.
It is not an easy play, and that is a pitch well located inside. I think that Beer left his hands at the plate with that one. I mean, that hurt. That was 101 miles an hour. That's going to hurt a little bit. Nice to see Ryan Helsley. Hasn't been a ton of work here for Helsley lately. The Cardinals just have been trailing. Hadn't got into a game since last Wednesday. Nice play there by Paul.
Unscored upon in this season, 10 1/3 going back to last year. And right now he's striking out 17 per 9. That's a pretty good rate.
12 punch outs and just over 6 innings of work.
Ball's just coming out of his hand differently this year.
What I like too is how aggressive he's been within the zone. He's got no walks so far on the season. He's got a feel for the cutter and the bigger breaking ball. That's the difference, is his feel for the off speed.
Ketel Marte. Nothing in 2. Marte. So the homer yesterday, and he's got a triple and a run scored today, along with a ground out and a strikeout. Well, the way things were going until that 7th inning, and you talked about it, the Cardinals have not come back late in many games to start this season. There's a swing and a miss. 103 on the gun.
Somebody's had some extra rest. Whew. Wow. You tie up Beer with 101 and then finish him off with 103 here. All right.
Wow. I just had the feeling like they weren't going to be able to come back in this game. They hadn't been hitting flat, and you're flat when you don't hit. So big inning for the Cardinals. Talking with Ryan the other day about his success, in particular with the secondary pitch, and he said the cleanup surgery on his left knee. He said he didn't realize how much that did affect him at times last year, and now 100% healthy. And you know, that landing front leg, as you know, Brad, critical for a pitcher.
It is. You think about having a bad knee, landing on that, you try to protect it. You can't finish anything. He's finishing everything just fine right now.
6-pitch inning as Harrison Bader makes the catch. Helsley, great start to this young season at 7-5. A couple of home runs hit by St. Louis. First of the year for Bader. Cardinals with that swing, a 2-run shot, grabbed a lead. And then Nolan Arenado, a little insurance maybe here late. The Cardinals have a lead of 7-5. Nolan has 6 home runs this year, and he's driven in 18. And a new pitcher in for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the lefty Caleb Smith.
That energy shift in this ballpark when those balls are hit, Dan, to me, it feels like it's much more than it feels like, more than one game. Like, this team needed that. They needed something to get over the hump, late innings, start hitting the ball hard.
And I would say too, Brad, in this game, thinking about the 9th inning, and this is Sosa, came in, pinch hit for the DH today, Dickerson, but Helsley just had a 6-pitch inning. He hit 103 on the gun. Throw him back out there for the 9th.
I would. I absolutely would. It looked dominant.
We've not seen Giovanni Gallegos since the blown save against the Mets in Game 1, in which Cardinals should have won, error by Arenado, but then he didn't cover the bag at first base, and we haven't seen him since.
Yeah, well, and if he doesn't get into this game, if he doesn't get the save situation in the 9th, that's not. It doesn't mean that they don't believe in Giovanni Gallegos. It's not a punishment because you didn't cover first. You don't get the next save opportunity. Sometimes you use the eyeball test and you look at what a guy just did and realize that guy might give you a better shot in a game like that, or your best shot.
So Helsley hit 103.1. The strikeout of Marte, that is the fastest pitch in the major league so far this year. Smith was just recalled from Reno. Appeared in 45 games last season with the Diamondbacks, and a strikeout of Sosa. And that's how we start playing the home half of the 8th. Plaza Tire Service pitch tracks.
Went fishing for the changeup from Caleb Smith.
And now Dylan Carlson, hitless today. He is struck out, grounded out to second, fly to center. Diamondbacks with a shift on the left side, and the first pitch in the dirt. Arizona will have Nick Ahmed, Perdomo, and Varsho due up. 8, 9, and 1. Out to left. Peralta sliding catch. Takes a hit away. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Lots of new little firsts to keep up with means less time for banking. Good thing you can check your balance with a text and get back to all of life's little firsts with Great Southern Text Banking.
Kisner started the rally for the Cardinals last inning with a base hit to left. Just a little soft liner right over Nick Ahmed. He's got 2 hits today. Single to center as well. And then after that, it was DeYoung. And boy, did he need that double. It was second and third. Donovan then filling in for Tommy Edman. We'll get word on Tommy after the game. Grounded out, but that brought in a run. And then the 2-run homer by Bader with 2 strikes on him. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, the home runs end up getting the headline in that inning, and rightfully so. But Kisner did set the table, and the fact that Donovan was able to just get bat to ball, keep the line moving, driving a run that way, you like that.
3-0 and DeYoung on deck. You're always looking for little things in a game that may get somebody going. Maybe it's a great defensive play, gets him going offensively. And for Bader, it's that home run. For DeYoung, it's the double. You just don't know. Maybe they catch fire. Great moment here at the ballpark. And the 3-1 pitch. And a walk by Kisner on base for the third time. DeYoung has scored a pair of runs today. Grounded into a fielder's choice. Eventually scored on an error. Grounded out to short. Then the double to left field in the corner. And came around to score.
Let's see it again here. I want to see something building for Paul DeYoung.
So no one throwing in the St. Louis bullpen. It will be Helsley in the top of the ninth.
I like the decision.
The 1-0. And DeYoung hits it out to left, but that'll stay in the ballpark as Peralta is there. Cardinals strand their 5th runner of the day. We head to the 9th. St. Louis trying to earn a split. Favor the Cardinals as we go to the 9th. A 6-pitch 8th inning for Helsley. Hit 103.1 on the gun, and that is the hardest pitch in baseball this year. So with the quick inning, Cardinals elect to put him right back out there. It's Ahmed, who struck out twice but also a homer, and then Perdomo and Varsho. First pitch by Ryan Helsley. Trying to bunt his way on and pushed it foul. Not a bad idea with the stuff that Helsley is showing right now.
Yeah, somehow, some way.
Yeah.
I almost like it though when people try to do that, even with Nolan playing deep, because I still think he's going to make some sort of a circus play.
Probably. Seen that a time or two in his year plus in St. Louis. Nothing in 2 the count. And the next by Helsley. He got him. It's a wipeout slider right there from Ryan Helsley.
Just well located. That's the thing. You have to be so ready for the fastball, so you're already on high alert, and then this thing starts on the plate, ends just off.
And it is Cooper Hummel, the pinch hitter for Perdomo. He's a switch hitter coming off the bench and now trying to get something going with 1 out, nobody on for Arizona, down by 2 here in the 9th. And the fastball taken high. Since the beginning of last season, there's been 4 pitches at 103 miles an hour. Helsley today. Chapman, Aroldis Chapman did it twice, and Jordan Hicks did it once. Those two doing it last season. But this slider now is becoming a weapon.
So as soon as it's a 1-0 count and he throws that to get right back into it and even at 1-1. We've never seen him be able to do that at the big league level. He's healthy. It's efficient. He's confident. Rightfully so.
The 1-1 pitch. 1-2.
Just 102 miles an hour. Wow. Painted at the bottom of the zone. Have fun with that.
I always felt that Ryan Helsley was closer material, and you heard me say that from day one. I said, watch this guy. Heard a lot about him in the minor leagues, and he's putting it all together right now. Look at that. Look at that. 102. Blew it right by him, and the strikeout for Ryan Helsley, and there's 2 away, and he's gotten 5 outs.
Just raring back. 102 miles an hour. This is a great look at what he's dealing with in the box.
The sellout crowd, those that have stuck around, they're on their feet making noise here at Busch Stadium. Strike 1. Varsho on base 3 times. A walk, was hit by a pitch, and doubled off the wall. And the 0-1 outside. The 1-1. Trying to extend it to Luplow, who is homered twice in this game. If not, we head across the street to Jim Edmonds and Alexa Datt in the post game. The 2-1 pitch. Arizona down to their final strike. Four-game series. Diamondbacks were trying to make it 3 of 4. Cardinals trying to earn a split. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Blew it by him. 102 on the gun. Helsley dominant late. And the Birds come back late, and they win it 7-5.
They needed that one badly. Coming into this series, you wouldn't have thought you'd feel great about a split with the Diamondbacks, but in the fashion that they did so, this team showed some heart, they showed some fight, and hopefully it's something that ends up carrying over for them. Couple of big home runs late, Dan, what a game.
Remember, tomorrow, 12:15 with the first pitch. Game has been moved up because of bad weather coming in. So 12:15, Kansas City in town, and we'll wrap up the homestand. They come back late. They win it 7-5, and it's off to the postgame show.